Welcome back, everybody. PD rankings here, heading into the heading out of the bye week for a lot of teams, heading into the bye week for a few. It is October 1st. Excuse me. Crazy October has already rolled around, and we have league play getting up and rolling. A couple leagues started last week. A couple teams started this week. A couple teams started the week after. So, things are ramping up here. Non-league play is wrapping up, if not over, for most teams. But no changes this week in our top seven. A lot of teams were on bye. A lot of other results kind of went about how we thought. So, no changes, but we'll just kind of run through where things kind of stand this week. A couple notable results from last week. Two of our bubble teams. Sonoma Valley moved to 5-0. Big win over Piner in their REC Mountain Division opener, and then Ukiah took San Marin down to the wire. San Marin scored a go-ahead touchdown with, I think, 3 minutes left to win 38-31, but Ukiah shown a lot more promise the last couple of weeks than they did in their kind of opening loss there to Rancho Cotati. But Ukiah on the road this week. Sonoma Valley also on the road this week in a pretty pivotal a league match at San Rafael on Friday night, so that should be a good one. No changes to our bubble. Kienan, any notes on those two bubble teams before we move into our top seven?
Nope, explained it pretty perfectly. Both teams or Sonoma Valley is kind of already rounded into form a little bit. Ukiah is definitely rounding into form. So, keep saying it week after week. But if they keep playing at the levels they're playing at, they could very well sneak into our top seven here.
No doubt. And actually, I'll be posting our new PDPreps rankings for this week. And Sonoma Valley actually kind of has made a bit of a surprising jump. So you guys will probably all see that by the time this is out. But keep an eye out for that. Staying at number 7, St. Vincent. Staying at number 6 is Vintage. Again, both those teams were off last week. Some big games coming up for both of them. This week's St. Vincent is welcoming Fortuna on Saturday. Fortuna was one of the better teams in the NCSD 6 the last couple of years, so that should be a good battle on Saturday in Petaluma. And then Vintage also, again, like I said, off last week. Big game coming up this week. Their big rivalry with Napa coming up on Friday. Napa not having the best of years, but it's still a very cool kind of environment, kind of scene. So if you're a big fan of high school football, definitely go check that one out. Just a really cool rivalry, and probably one of the most storied that we have up here in the area. So 7 and 6 staying put this week.
Yeah, no doubt. I expect Vintage to kind of stick at that 6th spot this week. Obviously, they've dominated the big game in the last several years. Don't expect that to change. So, and St. Vincent, obviously, we know how the game went up in Fortuna last year, the first one. So, expect some fireworks on Saturday in Petaluma, Gus. I think you will be there. 7-6, staying the same.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, definitely excited for that game on Saturday. First time catching St. Vincent this week. They've just been kind of on the road pretty much, honestly, most of the year at this point. So, good one coming up. Excited for that one. Staying put at number 5, Rancho Cotati, big winners last week over Montgomery, 42-28. They were up 42-14, I think, heading into the 4th before Monty scored a couple touchdowns. So Monty made a bit of a game early on too, as I think they were leading 14-9, and then just Rancho avalanche just happened there in the middle quarters. Huge game from Gio Martinez again. I think he had like 5 touchdowns, something crazy. So Rancho, another good win, closing out their non-league season at 4-1, heading into league play. They're going to be off this week, but they open RACW play the week after, hosting Vintage. So should be again, October 11th is the first week of RACW play, and I mean, again, just across the board, it's going to be an amazing matchup. So Rancho starting things off with Vintage in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think this is kind of perfect time to have your bye week. We're right at the end of non-league play, heading into league play. So I think Rancho's set up pretty perfectly. But Cougars stay in the 5 spot, and as long as Gio Martinez is playing like he is, Rancho's certainly going to be tough to stop, especially with that tough defense they got. So Rancho staying at 5.
I've heard the RACW league called the Black and Blue League, so it's just everyone's just going to get beat up every week in that one. So definitely a good point of just teams trying to rest up here, get their guys healthy before just an onslaught over the next month or so. So moving on to number 4, American Canyon. 4-0. They were off last week as well. Opening REC, is that Bay? Yeah, REC Bay play.
No, Valley.
That's right. Sorry. REC Valley played this week. It's hosted Tamalpais. Tam is 1-4, but they picked up their first win last week. Trounced Justin Siena, but they played a tough schedule. Don't let that 1-4 record, fool you. Definitely probably a little better than that record might indicate. So should be a good opening test here for American Canyon. Hasn't had a lot of challenges so far this year. Again, dynamic offense, just kind of rolling over teams, kind of like Newman's doing too. But yeah, I mean, the competition they face has left a bit to be desired, but we'll definitely kind of see what Tamalpais, can offer in that one. Keenan, I think you're going to be up there for a game of the week this week. So should be cool to kind of see what MCAM, is like, up close and in person, but they've been perfect to start the year. And again, resting up off their bye and heading into league play, hopefully healthy and undefeated. So.
Yeah, totally. It is going to be our game of the week this week. It's always great atmosphere over there, over in American Canyon, one of the bigger stadiums in our coverage area for sure. And just the atmosphere is great. So excited to go out there and to Tam's. Tam is a very, very, very good, despite the 1-4 record. Like you said, they played some tough teams. So excited for this one Friday night. But yeah, Wolves staying pat at number 4.
Number 3, Casa Grande. They destroyed Napa last week, 49-0. Their opener of REC Valley play. Casa again, is coming off of that pretty tough, last second loss to San Marin the week prior. So good to see them bounce back with this one. Good way to kind of get league started off with a big win. Casa and AmCam, are looking like those two top teams that, in the Valley division. So will be kind of cool to see how things kind of play out until they, play each other. But, like we said, Tam's pretty good. Redwood actually, could be a sneaky team in there too. So definitely some other stuff to kind of be worked out at that, down the road here. But Casa Grande, looking pretty good here at 3-2. Again, battle tested. Their 2 losses are, again, second loss San Marin, and the opening loss to Cardinal Newman. So tough schedule they played, and they're looking ready to come into Valley and make a statement. And opening 49-0 win over Napa this week, I think shows that they're in a good position to do so. So good test this week coming up at Redwood on Saturday.
Yeah, totally. No doubt about it. Second Saturday game already this season for Casa Grande. They had to go down to San Francisco and play Balboa as well on a Saturday. So I'd say they're pretty well prepped for those Saturday type games that teams don't like to play as much. But big test. Could be a league title eliminator, if you will, in this one. But Casa Grande, I mean, we saw what they did against Rancho. We've seen what they've done against Napa. So they're kind of cruising right now, kind of like they did after they lost against Cardinal Newman last year as well. So we'll see how the Gauchos fare in this one.
Number 2, Windsor, 4-0. They were off last week, hosting Eureka this week in their non-league finale. Not a whole lot, really to add to this one, but they should take care of Eureka pretty easily. On Friday, Loggers are coming in 1-3, not the toughest schedules either. So, Windsor is looking in a good spot to move to 5-0 and heading to the Newman game on October 11th, undefeated. So it's looking like, again, we're gonna have two 5-0 teams. Heading into that one here in a week or so. So, Windsor sticking at number 2. Idle last week and hosting Eureka this week.
Yeah, shouldn't have any problem with Eureka. Absolutely demolished them last year. This year Eureka's coming down to Windsor. They will very likely be 5-0 heading into that Newman game, which is obviously as exciting as it gets, Gus, considering what we've been through the last couple of years. But Windsor staying pat at 2.
And number 1, Cardinal Newman, 5-0, beat Pleasant Valley 37-10. Pleasant Valley was the number 1 team in the northern section coming into this game, and they gave them. I will say, I was watching the stream, and Newman kind of overcame some early, I guess miscues, to kind of put the game away in the second half. But Pleasant Valley got a long touchdown early on, and they actually missed a chip shot field goal right before halftime that would have made it a 10-point game. And I think they got the ball to open the second half too. Don't quote me on that, but I think they might have. Again, a couple things break differently. Pleasant Valley probably, could have made this a game, but Newman has just kind of, imposed their will in the second half. Yeah, and they're just again cruising along here at 5-0. They're off this week. One of those teams in the Adobe that's taking their bye here right before league play. Resting some guys up. And again, they're going to need it. Windsor. They're playing at Windsor here on the 11th. And then I think after that they play Rancho, and then they go San Marin and Marin Catholic. So I mean that's like a the next month of games there. The next month of games for Newman is just going to be all some dogs. So Newman is taking some well-earned rest this week. I mean again, very good play, very good win over a good Pleasant Valley team. They're cruising at 5-0. And I think they're still ranked in the top 5 of the NCS right now too. So I mean Newman is looking like the top team up here in Sonoma County, and honestly probably also in the North Bay too. I know Marin Catholic just beat a pretty good team from the Sac Joaquin section this past week, but they also lost their top playmaker on the outside. They have a dynamic tight end wide receiver who I think is out for the year now. So another big loss from Marin Catholic. So Newman is looking like pretty good, in the driver's seat here for the Adobe Valley. And again, long way to go. Black and Blue Conference has not even started yet. So we'll kind of see how things play out, but Newman is in a great position here heading into league play.
Yeah, I honestly think they're in a perfect position. But like you said, especially in your analysis piece last week as well, this Adobe League, there's going to be no easy games whatsoever. So, excited to see what happens in the next couple weeks. But Newman can enjoy their bye week after going a well-earned 5-0 to kick off the season. So, they definitely hold that number 1 spot with some room as well. So. Yeah, Newman's still our number 1 team.
I would agree with that. There is probably I don't want to say a large gap between Newman and Windsor, but probably a larger gap than there was last year. I think before the Windsor Newman meeting happened last year. So we'll see. I mean, again, this is why they play the games. Windsor's had their number the last couple of years, and we'll have all the preview stuff coming out here next week about how that game is gonna look, and how teams are feeling going into that one. So excited for that. Excited for this week. Not as many teams are, or more teams in action this week. Just so excited to catch some more games this weekend. So should be good. Thanks again everyone for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.
See you guys.